All right, we're 1 minute late. I'm sorry, a few technical difficulties. I'm still trying to work through all of this stuff. We are live on Facebook. Thanks again for our third installment of a conversation with me. Well, I'm hosting. I'm bringing some of my friends online to talk about their passion, their work, and it's mainly as a result of us all being in lockdown. We can't go anywhere. We shouldn't be going anywhere unless we really need to. I know things are opening up, slowly, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. So I just want to remind everybody to be safe, be thoughtful, wear a mask. It's kind of the smart thing to do. As we get started, I just want to remind everybody on the event page for this discussion. There's a couple things. Number one is we have a fundraiser for No Kid Hungry. So this project that I'm working on, I'm going to continue to promote that fundraiser. So go on there and just give a little bit, give a lot, whatever you want to do. I think it's a good thing. Beyond that, go to my YouTube page. I'm trying to get this thing going. I don't really know how all this works. Essentially, I'm not a YouTuber. But go to my channel. If you could subscribe and like the videos. We've got 2 videos already archived on there from conversation with Armando Gallo, Paul Whitehead, Gail Tattersall, and then I did another conversation with Armando last week, which is a lot of fun. And then the following, coming up this next week, it's going to be really good, but let's not go there. Let's talk about today. So I convinced one of my longtime friends. I've known him for about 15 years now. Met him at work, like as I meet most of the people I'm talking with, and just an amazing stand-up guy. I didn't really know who he was, at that point. And then we obviously had become friends. Beyond being a phenomenal photographer and a boss for a short period of time, which we'll talk about, just a phenomenal human. And I think you guys are going to get that from this conversation. Now, with that, I'd like to see if we can bring Mr. Lou Sauritch on screen. Lou, can you join us? Hey,
Chris.
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good. It's nice to have you here, Lou.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, I think, without getting too much further along, today's kind of a special day. Lou, today is your birthday, my friend.
It's my birthday. I took time out of my busy day today because there's so many things to do with this lockdown.
Well, happy birthday, Lou.
You,
and you've started something pretty special here too. You put a fundraiser for pediatric cancer research. So everybody go to the event page. In the discussion portion, you'll see that fundraiser there. Go and donate some. Put some money in there for him. Help Lou celebrate his birthday. All that good stuff. How you doing, Mr. Lou, on your birthday?
Good. I went to Portillo's for a drive-through Italian beef sandwich. We sat out in the parking lot and ate it. So, and I got a free piece of birthday cake. So
yeah, but you did not get the cake shake like I told you.
Oh no, I know. I'm trying to be good.
Oh, come on. Oh, good stuff. Well, where would you like to start? I mean, I think where do you want to go?
Well, probably where I first started, I guess.
Where did you first started?
Well,
where did you? Did that make sense? Where did you first start?
How I started? I was a collector.
Okay.
Sports memorabilia, baseball cards, and I knew there was a lawsuit between Fleer and Topps because Topps had a monopoly on the baseball cards. So there was a little tiny blurb in the Times Sports page that Fleer won a lawsuit. So I called Fleer, gave my name and number. Called back the next day. The guy goes, "We have your name and number. If we need anything, we'll call you." Well, about a month later, I got a phone call, and they want me to do the National League and shoot on the West Coast and travel. So that was June of 1980.
Oh wow!
And so our first cards were 1981, and I worked for them through spring training of 2003.
So it just kind of happened. I mean. You didn't just automatically start working for Fleer, right? I mean, what?
No, I had taken pictures before. I had my brother had a camera, and I got I met a friend at a card collector place, and he was the curator of the Angels Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you ought to write for a press pass and you can get the press guides and the team photos. So I did, and I heard back from probably 2/3 of the clubs. The next year he says, why don't you write for a press pass? So I did.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, I had a press pass, and the rest is history. That was with the Angels, and they would say, hey, do you have a picture of this guy or that guy? And I'd, just give them the picture. It was free. And then they put me in touch with another gentleman who did the National League Red and Green books,
Mm-hmm.
where they took out all the, names and phone numbers of the people they didn't want people to have, and they put in pictures. And so I had a few images used there.
What's a red and green book, Lou? I'm sorry.
It's the press guides for the American League and National League. The American League was the red book, and the National League was the green book.
Okay.
And
so you had access to those, which basically was a resource to reach out to these folks to try to get credentials. Is that right?
Well, no, that was the press guide. It had all the team's information in it.
Okay.
And then
go ahead.
And then they came out with an edition for the public,
Mm-hmm.
where they took out, like I said, they took out the information they want people to have, people's phone numbers and that, and they put in pictures, and those are the second and third pictures I ever had published. The first one was a poster company called MarketCom.
Okay.
And when Rod Carew signed with the Angels, they needed one of those. So I went to spring training, and that was the first thing I ever had published, got paid for, was the Rod Carew poster. So
what I just heard you say, Lou, is you faked it until you made it.
Faked it until I made it. You couldn't do that now. I mean, I had no company. My company was CNL Sports Photography and Publications. I published 0.
That's wonderful.
What's
CNL stand for? Is that
Chris? My son's name is Chris. And
that's appropriate.
Chris and Lou, and so that's how I got started. I don't think you could do that. Well, today you won't want to, because there's no money in. I mean, they've really cut it down. It's all Getty now, and it's just not what it used to be. So
yeah, it's all pretty much run by larger organizations, conglomerates, so to speak. Right.
They don't pay anything anymore.
Yeah, through my conversations with Armando and other folks, he because he photographs entertainment and Hollywood and so on. People steal stuff like left and right. I think he said he's getting some commissions for like 5 cents an image, and it's like, you can't make a living that way.
No.
Lou, you mentioned Rod Carew.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that guy. I mean, come on, Rod Carew.
I've known Rod for 41 years.
Yeah, he's not just a client though. He's one of your friends.
Good friend. We're good buddies, and superhuman guy. Just he's the greatest. He had his heart transplant and kidney transplant, and it was a rough time for him. I mean, he had the heart attack. He had a thing that they call an LVAD, which is a left ventricular assist device, which keeps his heart going. And he finally got the transplant. And how he got the transplant, it's a strange story. The kid was 29 years old.
Okay.
Rod's number was 29.
Oh, no.
About probably 20 years before that, the kid met Rod.
Really?
And he came came home and told his mom and dad, I met Rod Carew today. At some clinic or something. And then it's, years later, the kid had a brain aneurysm.
Okay.
And they kept him on life support until, they said, no, it's nothing. You can't do it.
Lou, you're not supposed to tell stories like this. Come on, man.
I know. But then Rod got he got the kidney and the heart from the kid. And
wow, what a
the guy played
story.
Professional football. He played for the Jets and the Ravens. And he was a local kid, went to Mission Viejo High School.
Oh, wow. Just down the street from us. Yep.
Yeah. So, and Rod's kids, stepson and daughter, went to school with him.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's small. I mean, you think about it. So, but yeah, we've been really good friends. We just haven't seen each other probably for 2 months.
Okay.
Because of this, the COVID. And he's high risk. high risk, very
Yeah.
high risk. So, he wrote a book, and he's got a book for me. He said he signed it to me. So I'm going to go out next week. He said, I'll just put it at the front door. You can grab it and then stand back and we can talk. So,
How sweet.
but yeah, super guy, really. And he's into photography, which,
Yeah, well, maybe we can have a follow-up to talk about that book too, you and I, once
okay.
you get it. That'd
Yeah.
be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe share a couple pictures of Mr. Carew. You said he's a photographer, and you shared this picture with me. Do you mind if I put
Go
something
ahead.
online?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, let me know if you can see it, okay?
Yep. Yeah, that was taken in Palm Springs in spring training, and Rod just was really into photography, and he would always ask, us photographers, questions about this and that, and he just loved it. He still shoots now. He wants to get more into it, but
Okay.
again, get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was really good with, like, he'd take the photographers, we'd go fishing with them. He had a boat, we'd go fishing with them. He'd take the bat boys, would go to spring training and go to dinner, and Rod would have no other players with him, just the bat boys. So, the clubhouse guys.
Teaching him photography and whatnot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so he really enjoys photography. I thought that was a great picture to send you, because it really, I don't know whose camera that is.
Don't worry about that.
No, I just kidding. Because it wouldn't have been his, because although he did shoot one time when he was injured and he was in the dugout and he had a camera, then the umpires told him to get it out of there. So
Are you kidding me? Really?
yeah.
All right. Well, let's. We got quite a few photos to go through. Let's see if I can find another one here. Oh, now this one, I want a story, Lou. I want a story behind this. Okay.
All right.
This is your image. I think it's going to be pretty important.
Oh yeah, kind of a little important for Rod. That was his 3,000th hit, and he played for the Minnesota Twins early in his career, and his 3,000th hit was against the Twins.
Oh wow! Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So that was, and you could always tell if his helmet came off, as you can see on that hit, which it never used to. I mean, that was kind of a rare deal. So you knew if you had the 3,000th hit, that was how you could tell.
Because he's putting all power into it. He wants to. He's ready to. He's ready to go.
He was going. So
what a great image.
Yeah.
That was slide film. It must have been. Or
that's all we shot was chrome.
Yeah.
I'd be shooting the games, and you'd have to get your light meter and tip it. I mean, really tip it.
Yeah. Tell me about that. I'm actually very interested, because I know the threshold for error with slide film was really, really minimal.
Minimum. Yeah.
So you would I'm sorry, go ahead. Tell me how you metered off that to get the appropriate exposure, Lou.
You would just tip it, like the newspaper guys, they hold it straight up. Okay. It might say, F11 at 1,000. Okay.
Yep.
When you're shooting chrome, like you said, there's very little leeway. You tipped it a lot, because you had to figure out for the helmet,
sure,
the shadows, and the newspaper guys, you're shooting it at 2.8 or 4. I said, yeah, if I shot 11, you wouldn't see anybody.
Yeah, because it's going to underexpose, right?
And if you have black and white or just any regular print film, you can manipulate it,
Yeah, but not with chrome.
No.
Excellent shot, Lou. God,
Thanks.
3,000th hit.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right, where do we want to go next? Where would you like to go next, Mr. Lou?
I'd like to go back to Portillo's, but since we're here.
So I like their hot dogs. I mean, their beef dips are pretty amazing too.
Yeah, hot dogs. And sometimes if I can't make a choice between the Maxwell, the Polish, Maxwell Street Polish, you can get the combo.
I'm a little sad that you didn't get the cake shake, but I get it.
If I go back again, I'll have to try the cake shake.
My daughter, because honestly, I didn't have one until California, because I had them, in Chicago, which is where I think they're from.
Right.
I never had it there. So I worked in Chicago for a little while, and I ate at Portillo's essentially every day, because it was great, but it was right down the street. Never had a cake shake then, but when I came out here, I took the kids. I'm like, oh, we got to go, my son and my daughter, and we got the cake shake. Lou, seriously, I'm going to stop. It was
I've never seen that. No.
Yeah, well, this is not a conversation about Portillo's, but they're fantastic if you go to Buena Park.
And I don't work for them, so I'm not plugging them.
No, I don't either. This is good food. Good food.
Oh yeah, Rod and Tony. Those guys were roommates when Rod first came up, and they are still the best of friends. I mean,
really?
Yeah. In every spring training, those two go to spring training, and they spend their wives like each other, so they have great times. And Tony's just a great guy. He came out to Rod's golf tournament last year for the first time, and because Rod has a golf tournament for Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation, because his daughter Michelle had leukemia, and she passed away from it. And
sorry to hear that, Lou.
And my daughter was diagnosed in 1983 with the same leukemia, AML.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
which gives us a really, I don't mean to cut you off, Lou. I told you I was going to try not to do that. This is a good opportunity. You guys go to the event page, the discussion board. And like I said, if you're just joining us, there is a fundraiser for pediatric cancer research. Go ahead, give some money. A lot, a little, give something. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be really neat, Lou, if we could see that tick up on your fundraiser. If we could see that.
Good. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's especially this year, like I said, because everything is canceled. There is all of our events. This golf tournament was supposed to be the 25th annual, and that got canceled. We had to run, walk. Every event was canceled this year just because you can't chance
circumstance. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I've been involved with those guys since 1984, I think. We were just infant foundation, and we used to have pygmy goat shows, chili cook-offs to raise money. Now that's now the golf tournament will probably bring in $300,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the bid for the kids will probably bring in maybe $500,000. So
that's that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but Rod's really been good with the foundation. When Michelle was dying, she said, "Daddy, you have to continue to help the kids."
Oh, and he's a good human anyway. But yeah, that's awesome. That is really.
I mean, he does stuff like he would go see kids that were dying, no cameras, no nothing. Like some of these athletes, they go to Children's Hospital, they have a whole film crew. It's like, oh, I'm doing my, then they leave, they don't care about it. But not Rod. Maybe he really, now he's really involved with the American Heart Association. Tells everybody to go get your stress echoes and your treadmills because
we're not getting younger.
Oh, no. No, I'm not.
We're not, Lou.
But I go every year.
Nobody is. There's no Benjamin Button here. So, all right. Where do you want to go from here? Do you want me to pick something out?
Yeah, just pick some.
Well, I'm kind of going from my youth. I'm an old dude now too, and I don't know. When I was a kid, I loved the Astros, but I guess we won't go there. Let's go with. I know this guy. This guy was pretty important for you.
Oh yeah, Junior, my buddy. Actually, me and Junior were born in the same hospital.
Really?
Yeah, he was from a town called Denora. I was from a town called Charleroi, south of Pittsburgh, a little bit, like 20-some miles.
Okay.
Now, he claims that he wasn't born in Charleroi, that he was born in Denora. And I go, no, Junior, you were born in Charleroi Menneson Hospital. It's called Charleroi. No. So we argue all the time over it. So, because he was from Denora. I said, okay, so when your dad played, and they had the All-Star games, and some of the times they would go over to Japan and play. They'd take a group of the American players. If you were born over there, where would you have been born? Said Denora. I said, okay, whatever, I'm done. So, but no, good guy. Really got to be good friends with him. And those glasses he has on are gargoyles. And I happened to call his agent one day, see what was up, and he said, Lou, I got to stay home. I got to talk to you. So stay home. I'm going to call you right back. So
okay.
he called me back and said, we just finished a meeting with Gargoyles and Junior signing a deal with the Griffey wraps. That's what those glasses were.
Uh-huh.
And eventually went to the flips, where they were sunglasses that came down, they flipped up and come,
Yeah, and I think you've got a picture of that too, which I'll show in a little bit. But
yeah. So anyway, his agent says, we just signed a big deal with Gargoyles. And Junior says to the president, anybody, if you're going to do any ad work, Lou's doing all my photography. So
nice.
that really worked out well. And I just charged him a standard rate. I didn't overdo it. I could have, because.
But you didn't, because that's a good thing to do.
Right. And the president, he called, and I could have charged him whatever, and I gave my regular day rate. And I shot him, and then there was a guy named Alexi Lawless, who was a soccer player. He wore the glasses. I did his shoot, and another gal named Arcadia, who her dad was with Jacques Cousteau. So,
oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got to shoot her. So I made a lot of money with Gargoyles, because we did a couple of shoots with Junior. And
so Lou, I'm going online here, and just a couple of shout outs, if you could help me out here. One of my family members, Jimmy Davis, if you could let's say hello to Mr. Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
He is a wonderful writer, a husband and father. He's a really cool guy. My wife is online, because she's a supporter forever. Nick Cirillo. Nick is important as well. He's one of my best friends from work.
Okay.
And who else is with us here? I think that's all. People keep jumping in and out, but
yeah,
it's good to say hi to the people that are actually joining us here on the live broadcast.
Hi,
this will be on YouTube, but hey, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Let's do another Ken Griffey, because he looks like a funny guy. He's like
he's
nice
great.
guy.
He had the greatest smile
in
the world. And he intimidated a lot of photographers, just because he was just being goofing around, but people thought he was serious. And it's like, he'd point his finger and, he'd say, get that effing camera out of my face. And he was just, I just keep on shooting him. So I didn't care, So, but no, he was a good guy. He really, really good guy.
You just build a relationship with them, a real relationship with them, and
yeah. Oh no,
yeah. And then they trust you. So I think that's the lesson one lesson, Lou, is that you treat people well and properly, then you're rewarded for that.
Yeah.
It's not just all about personal gain. With all due respect, that's when I met you and I figured out what you did, and Armando and so on, you guys have been like family, to me. I've known you for 15 years. My goodness.
Oh yeah.
And as I mentioned at the top of the show, if you guys are just joining, I worked for Lou for a little bit. We won't go into too much, because I don't want to, steal his thunder for the transition that we're going to do in a little bit. But you're a pretty good boss, Lou.
Good. I'm glad you. Yeah, it was funny because, the guy named Mike that used to work at Jack's?
I do.
Okay. He used to work for a acquaintance of ours. And he shot for him for years, shooting Little League.
Uh-huh.
Well, Mike worked for me. And after, the day's over, I said, hey, Mike, thanks a lot. I sure appreciate it. So I go into Jack's the next day to turn my film in, or Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay, who owned Jack's cameras,
mm-hmm.
he said, what'd you do to Mike? And I go, what are you talking about? He said, you thanked him. I said, yeah. He goes, the other person, I won't mention his name.
Thank you.
Never in like 10 years thanked him for his. I'm like, I appreciated what you guys did. You got paid, and you got paid well, but still, you helped me out. And it's like, it's not that hard to say thank you. It goes a long ways.
Especially these days, my friend. Yep. Well, you don't know this. Well, there's two things about that. You helped subsidize some of my first trips back to Memphis to see my family. So thanks for that. Yeah. And then secondly, this is maybe not a good thing, but you were solely responsible for one of the worst.
I know you're talking about. You won't mention his name.
The worst license plate frame, or license, a driver's license picture that I've not, you know, come on, look, come on, really, but it was bad. Lou, I had been working for you for a couple weeks in the spring, and I remember I didn't wear sunblock because, you know, I'm smart.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something. Okay. Yeah.
No. You don't even know this story. I don't think I shared this with
No.
you. And I was so bloated and I was so sunburnt during that, and I had to get it done.
Yeah.
That ID stuck with me for, obviously, for many years. So thanks for that, Lou.
Yeah.
Because anybody pays attention to your
I
driver's
thought we were
license.
going to bring up somebody who worked for me also that gave you guys headaches.
Nope, we're not going to do that. Oh, you're funny. Let me see what's going on online here, see if there's anything else that. Oh, so yeah, all right. Nick, how you doing, buddy? Nick Cirillo. Nick Cirillo is a pretty neat guy, Lou. I'll introduce you to him at some point.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, so let's, I think we got a few more, you got a bunch of Griffey, I mean.
Yeah, I think me and Griffey. Yeah, that's when he was with the Reds. He played with Seattle most of his career, then he went to the Reds, and that's where his dad played. Ken Griffey Sr. played for the Reds. I actually knew Sr. before I knew Junior.
Okay.
And I used to give Ken Sr. baseball cards for Ken and his brother Craig.
Okay.
And but I knew Ken because we were from the same local area in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So
do you? I hesitate to ask, but do you remember what stadium? What this? Where you made?
Oh yeah,
this
that's San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium.
Okay.
And those dugouts, if you can see those dugouts in the background, most dugouts are dug out. Obviously called dugouts. Yep. Well, this they shared with the football stadium with the Chargers, so they weren't dug out. That dugout in the back was like studio light. I mean, you could shoot. Oh God, you just loved shooting in there, and it was like, remember Tony Gwynn?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tony being very dark, shoot him in that dugout, and it was like studio light. It was like, oh man,
oh, it was really subdued. Yeah, I bet.
And he'd always tell me, because you know Tony passed away a couple years ago, and he had the greatest laugh in the world. And he'd be sitting there, and I'd be shooting him, you know, just with long lens, 400, and he's in the dugout. And Lou, how many times are you going to shoot me? How many pictures you need? And I said, T, when I get enough, I'll let you know.
You know, that's funny you say that too. Not to make this about me, Lou, but I mean, you know, it's funny because when I worked for you, you know, we photographed Little League, and I know you had kind of drilled into me this sort of not a formula, but a method where it's the parents want at bat, hit, run, and then throw. Right, that was always going through my head. And I just remember in the run when I first started working for you, I would lay on that shutter. Just how many, like 30 shots of the kid?
I would edit Chris's stuff, and it'd be like, oh my God, it was like you said, 30. He's like, the kid's not that fast. It's only like 60 feet, maybe 45 feet.
Yeah.
And I'd have 30 shots, and I'm like, oh my God, finally I'd tell you, okay. But then that was good. I told you, and you backed off.
I backed off a little bit. In my head, the reason, well, I'm going to give an excuse right now because, you know, that's what I'm going to do, was I didn't want to miss a shot for you. And
I know. Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, I tell you what, when I first started shooting Little Leagues, I shot film. Okay. I would give myself 10 rolls a game.
Okay.
And give my other photographers 10 rolls a game to shoot.
Okay.
That's 360 shots for a game. How many? The thing when digital came in, it was great.
Yeah.
And it was also horrible because
I think I averaged 800 per game, Lou.
Oh, easily, yeah. And it was like, what are you doing? I'm even saying that to myself. Because I'd edit the stuff, you know. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No.
All right, let's see, Lou. Where do we want to go? You know, so you shot for Fleer, and I think you know, you brought your own style to that industry. So I'm going to bring up one here and then just have you comment on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's kind of important for a couple of reasons.
Yeah. It's kind of a couple of reasons. It's funny because Fleer, they always had us shoot pitcher, batter, swinging, pitching. It was like, guys, this is boring, man.
Mm-hmm.
So they finally relented and started doing different photos, and that's Tim Flannery, and Tim was a surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to take a picture of Flannery on the beach with his board and his hat, and he goes, "Lou, I don't want to do it on the beach, but I'll do it at the stadium." And my brother has shaped surfboards by hand for 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
50 plus. And Tim knew him, and he said, "Have your brother bring a surfboard to the stadium, and I'll pose with it there." So that's how we got to that image right there. That was his actual baseball card.
Oh, that's yeah. And I think here, you sent this to me. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh yeah, there was a magazine called Beckett's, and they asked us our favorite cards. And so there's the card on the left-hand side. That's the actual card.
Oh, wow.
And then if you read the thing,
mm-hmm.
let's see, does it say? Then my second favorite shot, which probably lead into this, was my son played minor league baseball for the Orioles.
Uh-huh.
And that would actually be probably my favorite card, but since it had to be a pro card, I picked the Flannery card.
So what you're saying is your son's card was your favorite card. Is that what I just heard you say?
Yeah.
And you photographed that.
I photographed that card.
And his first game was on Father's Day.
His first game was on Father's Day. So
let's see. Let me find that. Let me find Chris. Here we go. Not me, but his son.
Yeah. That was 1994.
Look at that. Wow.
Played for the Bluefield Orioles in Bluefield, West Virginia.
Okay.
And Bluefield was split down the middle. There's Bluefield, Virginia, and Bluefield, West Virginia.
Okay.
And it was about as big as the parking lot at the Walmart, but that's about it. It was a pretty small town.
A pretty good player. I understand he had to cut his career a little bit short, though, huh?
Yeah, he was an infielder his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And his second year, he called. He said, "Dad, guess what?" And if you know my son, when he said, "Guess what?" you panicked because it was never anything good. I digress.
Okay.
He went to Southern Illinois on a baseball scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
After playing, he went to Chapman here for a year, but he hated it. So then he went to Saddleback,
mm-hmm.
and he was all-state player there.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to Southern Illinois, and his first night there, or one of the first few nights, he called up, "Dad, guess what?" I go, "What?" He goes, "I got hit by a car." I go,
"Oh,
what?
Shoot. Oh, no.
Are you okay?"
Uh-huh.
How are you? "I'm okay." Is the car okay?" "No, I got hit by a car."
Oh.
He was having a few too many beers, I guess, and stepped off a curb and car hit him, but it wasn't anything major. I mean, he spent the night in the hospital just for observation, but he was fine.
The youth, the transgressions of youth.
But anyway, that's what happened. He was a pitcher, as an infielder, and then his second year, first week, he called and said, "Dad, guess what?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "I pitched last night." I go, "You what?" "I pitched." This is professional, it's like, So how'd you do? He says, "I did okay." A few days later, he calls back and said, "Dad, guess what?" And I go, "Now what?" He goes, "I'm going back down to Florida to extended spring training to become a pitcher."
Wow.
So he went down to Florida, became a pitcher, went back to Bluefield,
mm-hmm.
and stayed there for about a week. And then they sent him out to, that was called a rookie league. And then they sent him out to High Desert, which was High A League.
Okay.
And which was good because I was out in Adelanto, up in the High Desert. And so I get to go see him there, or Lake Elsinore, wherever they played. So that worked out pretty well until his second year. After that, it would have been his third year total. He couldn't sleep at night when he got home, and he called the Orioles, and they had him go see Dr. Job. He was the big, shoulder guy.
Mm-hmm.
And after he saw Dr. Job, he says, "You're gonna need surgery." So he had to go back to Baltimore and have surgery done. He had rotator cuff, bicep, and labrum. So, you know, if you're going to blow it out, you might as well just blow it
Just
out.
blow it all out.
Blow it out.
Hey,
Get it
so
over with.
Lou, we're going to try this, okay? Because, you know, when I watched, because I've watched some other interviews that people do just to kind of get an idea. And what I like is the interactivity online. And there's a question from one of my friends, one of my family members. Let's see. Did he put that ball where he wanted it? That's some focus and follow through caught in the shot. Let's see which one we think that might have been.
Oh, that one there, Chris's shot?
No, I don't think it was Chris's shot because there was no ball in there, was it?
Oh.
Or what? Let's see if we can find it. Hang on. And Missy, if you, no, I don't think it, no, because there's no ball there.
Oh, oh.
It must have, because it was a few minutes ago. So let me see if,
Okay.
we're going to find it. No, there's no ball there.
No ball and rod. That ball was already gone.
It's gone, baby. All right. I'm gonna find it.
Maybe not Griffey, I don't think.
No. Well, I'm gonna keep going through.
I'm trying to think because he only had was Griffey shots, and the rod shot.
Well, let's keep going, and if I remember it, that after this one, I don't know. I don't know, Missy. I'm sorry. I think it was that one, like the Carew photo. Obviously, the ball's not in the frame, but there's some follow through. I mean, that's a good question, Lou, because obviously, when you're photographing still images, there's no luxury like with video to get perspective where you can do the follow through. You get a couple sequences, and that's it, right?
Right.
If you're off, you're off. What's your technique for framing up? I mean, what are you thinking? Because you're obviously, it's not just point the camera and go.
You just kind of have. It's kind of it's hard to explain. It's like he's standing there at bat, and then you get that shot, and then you just have to anticipate him swinging, and you kind of if he does, then you got to kind of move the camera just a little bit to get his, or you can be further away, and he's in there,
cropped in,
full image. So because right there, see, I didn't get I was actually a little too close, I guess, because I couldn't get his whole, his left foot in.
Yeah, it's still a very meaningful shot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I love the background, even though it's defocus or the background's out of focus. I just love the stadium shots.
Yeah. That was the hardest stadium to shoot in, one of them, the light.
Oh yeah.
Any Southern California stadium, the Northern California stadiums, San Francisco, Oakland, and out here, and like we had a guy in Chicago that shot there, and my guys with FLIR would always call me and said, I don't know what we're gonna do. Your stuff is the light is so harsh, and it's like, okay, I can't control that. I mean, it's harsh light. He goes, Tony's stuff is always so great. I said, tell you what, you send Tony to Southern California, you send me to Chicago. If my stuff isn't any good, let me go. But it's just the northern, you know that. I mean,
and it's not like digital where you can kind of manipulate the, some of the settings and so on. But I think, when I worked for, what's that?
They kept me.
Okay, so they kept you. Yeah, think. It was funny because when I would photograph, for you, what I would do to anticipate, because I normally shoot with my left eye into the viewfinder, right?
Yeah.
I would actually change to my right eye and try to look at the batter if I'm photographing look at the pitcher.
Picture to see
and the moment I see him release, I'm going down on the shutter, right?
Yeah.
And you try to get that ball in mid action, which is really challenging.
Oh, that's so hard. I mean, it's so hard because, especially with youth sports, because their swings aren't as like, when you get a pro player.
Yeah.
I'd watch him when he would you'd watch his hands, and when they just go back a little bit, he was coming through. Little league kids, good luck. I mean, it was, especially the younger kids.
Yeah, but T-ball is pretty cool. T-ball is really, really cool.
Oh yeah. Well, like now where I shoot is my grandson. I mean,
Yeah, and we're going to get to that, but I got a little bit ahead of myself. Missy, I hope that helped answer your question a little bit. I hope I got the right image.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I got the wrong picture, but that's okay. We'll keep going. That's not uncommon for me. So Lou, okay, so this one spoke to me, and then I want to shift gears a little bit to legacy players. But this fella,
Oh yeah,
I like the story behind the
yeah. That's Jason Giambi, and like I said, after like the Flannery card, Fleer started to loosen up a little bit instead of just doing this regular, batter pitcher. And I think Upper Deck was the first company that's changed that. They let the guys do whatever they wanted to do. And I always told my guys, anything on the field of the stadium should be good enough to shoot, not.
Mm-hmm.
So this was spring training, and I asked Jason if he wanted, I said, I got to get some shots, and he had his dog with him. I said, you want your dog in the picture for your card? He goes, oh, you would do that? And I said, yeah, we'll do it. So that was his card that year. We used his dog in it. So, but yeah.
That's cool. And I like the fact that you put other elements that were unconventional. I mean, because, saw, any other, baseball card, it was action or the posed or whatever.
Or the posed or the pitch. Yeah, it was just like, it was so boring. And finally Upper Deck came into the picture, and they were great stuff. It was different guys sitting in the dugouts, just different, perspective of the game.
No, that's cool stuff. Now we're gonna kind of circle around a little bit here, and just one, I think it's really important to kind of recognize. Oh, where did it go? Something went wrong. There we go. That's funny. It's like the most important time. Okay, now this. Here we go. Talk to me, Lou.
Oh, my buddy. Yeah. Don Baylor.
Yeah.
I got to meet I met Don in about 1977, I think. I was playing softball with this team, and our third baseman guy's name was Doc Reeves, and he had played with Donnie in the minors. So I went to go shoot a game, and Doc said, hey, if you see Don Baylor, tell him I said hello. So that's how I met Don, and we just became very good friends. And he passed away a couple years ago from multiple myeloma. And but just the nicest guy. You didn't want to mess with him on the field, but off the field, he was a teddy bear. And we were when he passed away, that one really, really, really hurt. I mean, that hit hard.
Now, Lou, you had, and I hope I'm not screwing this up, but you had a really cool story about your son.
Oh yeah.
Going to games, and tell me about that. You want to share that?
Yeah, I just take my son. I think about this now. I was a fool. In 1978, my son was 6. I would take him to games, let him sit in the stands by himself. I mean, today I'd be arrested for child abuse, but I had friends there and one guy, he was a scout, and he had an extra seat all the time, and he'd say, have Chris come down here and sit with me. So anyway, I would take Chris to the games in 78, and every time I'd take him, dominate a home run or get some RBIs or whatever. So last game of the year is Fan Appreciation Day. I don't take my son because I figured everybody's going to ask tickets for Don. I don't do it. So I show up at the game. Don sees me. He goes, where's Chris? He's at home. He goes, I have 99 RBIs. I go, oh, okay. Don ended up that year with 99 RBIs. So I think Chris was the problem with that. And he even sent me a letter after the season about hey, thanks for all the photographs. There it is, yeah. And if you can see, he says, tell Chris I needed him for that 1 RBI after all. So, but that was such a nice letter. I mean, that's something that, I didn't ask for. I got it. And so fast forward to 1979, the next year, needless to say, I took my son to a lot more games. Don was MVP and had 139 RBIs. So
nice. So Chris was definitely that.
He was the guy, yeah.
That good luck guy.
It was funny because when Chris played at Saddleback, they had a tournament out in the desert, and Don wasn't coaching that year. Mm-hmm. And so he called up Don, and Don had him and his buddy over, and they were. So I called Don and I said, is Chris there? And he goes, what are you bothering your son for? He's out in the spa with a couple girls and some beers. Just leave him alone. He was kidding. but that was the type of guy he was. He just, took him out there and took care of him when he wasn't playing. And so,
yeah, just all around nice guy, you said, right?
Yeah.
Which seems to be a common theme with the people that you associate with, Lou. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to take that as a compliment. Not that I'm in any.
I was going to say, wait a second, Chris, what are you talking about? And this picture here, Don won the most valuable player in, I said 1979, and then he managed the Colorado Rockies, and I forget what year it was, but he was manager of the year. And so he said, hey, can you get a picture of me with my MVP and manager of the year trophies? And so they were down in Tucson, and so me and Bill Livingston, because Bill had the lighting set up and everything. So Bill and I went down to Tucson, and we got that picture of Don with his 2 awards. So that's kind of special to me. He's just a super guy.
Super, yeah, that's a wonderful picture. And then, you had mentioned that you're working with other photographers. Let me pull this other image up. I think this is Mitch. Is it Mitch that you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you guys were super young. Oh, it's
so my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, who is this guy?
Who is that guy on the left? Jesus. That was 1993. 1993. My son is older than I was then.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's kind of
good
great
to see Mitch. Mitch looks like a young man there.
Oh, Mitch is in his 30s. Yeah, it had to be, because I'm older than Mitch, and I think I was 43 at that time.
Yeah.
And because Chris was gone. He was still at Southern Illinois, because that was his first year there at Southern Illinois, 93.
All right. Great picture though, huh? I love that.
Yeah, that was good buddies.
All right, we're keeping going through here. There's a picture I just need an explanation for. You sent it to me, but I don't know what this is about. What's going on here, Mr. Lou?
I don't know. That was some Yahoo. No, that was our. Fleer had in a couple of card companies, the NFL had their draft, and then a few weeks after the draft, they had an NFL rookie shoot where they bring in the top rookies, and then we got a chance to photograph them.
All right.
So I was doing around.
What's this with the hat? I mean, Lou, what's going on? You like the Steelers or something?
Oh, no. And then Mitch took that picture.
Lou, show us your back, the wall.
The wall? Okay. Can I do it now?
Yeah. There we go. You're in Steelers country.
There
so
you go.
If you guys didn't know, Lou is a Steelers fan.
Yeah, and then those pictures behind it are Forbes Field and Roberto Clemente, my favorite player. So
right on. That's fun stuff, Lou. So, as we prepared, to talk today, and I love talking with you, Lou. You're just so pragmatic and real about things. And something that was kind of meaningful to me was when you transitioned from shooting for Fleer with, these large organizations. Tell me about that transition when you moved away from that.
Well, I could see the card industry probably about 2000 starting to slow down, because everybody was going, the kids had the digital games, and the card collecting was really falling off. So I started shooting one league 1 year, then maybe 2 the next year. And then 2003, I picked it up a lot more, and I went to spring training, and we used to go for 40 days. Well, in 2003, they gave us 25 days. I could see where they were really cutting down. So first day I was there, I called my wife, and I said, I'm done. She goes, what? I said, I can make more money shooting little leagues. She says, you can make money, fine. So I did my 25 days and called Fleer and said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You guys are going under. And they said, my boss said, I'll leave your spot open for a while in case you change your mind. I said, Al, you better hire somebody. My mind is made up. And they ended up, I gave him Rob Leiter's name, and they hired Rob Leiter. So then I went from there to the little leagues, because I could make more money there than shooting for cards, because it was just, and the next year they were out of business.
And what's interesting, Lou, when we were talking about that is, and I think it's incredibly important, today, because a lot of folks are going through transition, taking on new responsibilities as a consequence to the, COVID-19 response. I mean, it's upending the whole world, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Right.
but I think, something that folks could take away from what you just said is, you saw what was happening, but you weren't too proud to do something that would be considered not as, quote, professional, right?
Right. Yeah. Because there were guys that said, "Oh, you're going to go shoot youth sports," and I go, "Yeah, I'm going to shoot youth sports. There's money there, and you guys ought to think about doing it." And of course, a couple years later, guys were calling me, "How'd you do that? What do you do?" And I go, "Well, I should have told you. Just seen it coming." So it's just it was. I saw it coming, and like I said, a year later, they went under. And I'd ask some guys to shoot for me. You know who they are, and they'd call and say, "Hey, I can't make it today." And I go, "Why?" "Well, I'm going to go shoot the Dodgers or the Angels." And I'm thinking, great, you're going to go make probably a tenth less than I'm paying you, if you even get paid, because it was spec. But it was that image of, I can't, I'm going to still shoot the pros. Well, good. Go shoot them. You're not making any money. I mean, I shot all-star games, World Series, playoff games. I'd done it all. Super Bowls.
And people. So,
yeah. Yeah. So it was easy. And I think I didn't miss, because a lot of the guys, when the companies closed, they really miss shooting the pros, the pro sport guys. I left, went right into shooting youth sports, and I didn't miss it. People say, "You don't miss it?" Nope. I said, the only thing I missed was going to spring training, and because there were guys from all over the country, we were all friends, even when we worked for different card companies, and go to, just give each other a bad time all day and go to dinner. And, it was fun. And then same thing during the year, you just go to the games, and the whole time you're shooting, you're giving each other a bad time. But I don't miss it. I mean, and I've been gone almost as long as I shot for FLIR. I shot for them for 23 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've been done for 17.
Okay.
So,
well, let's move into some of your Little League stuff. Is that cool?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Now we're going to concentrate on your grandson, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Who is multi-talented.
Oh yeah, kid.
This little dude does a lot of stuff. Fun stuff, though. Let me find it. Well, before we do that, let's kind of a fun. That's your son.
Yep.
And a more recent picture of Mr. Carew.
Rod Carew.
And where are you at, Lou?
Where am I at, Chris? That's where I was today, Portillo's.
At least you're consistent, Lou.
I forgot about that shot that I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, I just saw that coming through. So let me find one here. Oh yeah, there we go. This is stuff I remember. God, that's a great shot, Lou.
Oh yeah, that's my grandson Nick. He was, how old was that? He was 8. That was last All-Stars. He was played on the 9 and 10-year-old All-Stars, and he was only 8. But the kid can play. I mean, he's, Chris always asked me, "Dad, what do you think between me and Nick?" I said, "Be honest, Chris, I think he's better than you were at that age."
That's a hard thing to say to your son, but
yeah, no, but I mean, but he kind of, thought, but yeah, but yeah, the kid loves to play. Actually, Chris called me today when I was walking on the beach to wish me happy birthday, and him and Nick were heading to the fields to go hit, because they've been closed for all this time until this weekend, I think.
That's right.
They finally opened up. So
yeah, things are finally starting to open up a little bit, which is nice. So let's find some other ones here. Oh yeah, I love and you taught me a lesson about pitching. Look at that face.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
And I mean, that's just, sometimes he's got his tongue out, but that was when Chris pitched in the minors. I have pictures of him like that. I mean, he just was intense. So,
yeah.
And it was funny because we'd go to the games, and my wife, when he would come in to pitch, she could not watch. She would just go up in the stands and walk, up in the concourse and walk around. And I'm thinking, "What are you doing? He's pitching. I can't watch. I go,
really?
Yeah, she couldn't watch.
She was nervous. She was nervous.
Oh yeah,
for him, yeah. So grandmother's right.
Yeah. No. When Chris played.
Oh, when your son. Okay.
Right. Yeah, not when Nick played. I know.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Missed that story. All right. Let's see here, Lou. We're coming up on the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It goes quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, we missed Joe Montana. You want to talk about Joe Montana?
Oh, that's okay. I mean, he was just, that was picture I had was just him and Bill Walsh, who was his coach, and they were both really.
Oh yeah, just
and,
Bill
and,
Walsh and
and,
Joe Montana. Just,
and Joe Montana was from the town next to where Griffey and I was from.
okay.
So yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of go with, because I said he was multi-dimensional. This kid does it all, apparently.
Oh yeah, it's funny. He loves hockey. I mean, and Chris asked him because Chris was baseball,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked him, Nick, what's your favorite sport? And he said ice hockey. So that kind of because I think until we get a little bit older, because hockey you're moving the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how Chris and you sports, you shot him.
Yeah.
The littler kids, now Nick is an exception because he's really good, but they lose interest and they're just, they just turn their heads, watch butterflies, whatever flies by them, or
Run the wrong way. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yep.
when you shoot hockey, it's like, you're playing hockey, you're going the whole time. And, and he loves football. So he's
an active kid.
Yeah.
So Lou, this has been a fun hour, dude.
Well, thank you.
We're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
So just to close out, you guys, a couple things. Number one, go to the event page, and we have No Kid Hungry as a fundraiser that I've started, and then today's a very special day. It's Lou's birthday. He's started a fundraiser for pediatric cancer research, which is very important to him for obvious reasons, personal, and obviously everything's kind of closed down right now, so they're not going to be able to do those fundraisers that bring in a lot of money. So a little bit or a lot, just go over there and put some money
anything helps, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Lou. Just get over there, and then for me, because I'm going to try to kind of keep this thing going. If you could go to my YouTube page, which is linked here as well. Be a subscriber and subscribe and like the videos. That's I know I don't mean to sort of ask for that, but that kind of helps kind of keep the momentum going here. I'm going to keep doing this regardless. I think I have just a very few subscribers right now, but it's a lot of fun and it helps me kind of stay out of trouble and talk to some really fun people like Mr. Lou Sauritch here. So
thank you, Chris.
Lou, you're awesome, dude.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for being a good human too. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what's that, bud?
That's important.
Especially these days. So, well, always, not just these days. But thank you, Lou. And
all right.
Let's sign off, and we'll get together again sometime. Okay.
All righty. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.